everyone, welcome to my channel. So my name is Gabby and I am going to do a book haul for you today. I have gone down the rabbit hole of BookTube and I have been so inspired to dive in to some books. Some of these are random. I've just went on Amazon, what can I get? I live in Portugal, so I can't go to the bookstore and get an English book anywhere. I can't go to the library and get some English books. It just wouldn't happen that way. So I kind of had to rely on Amazon and other sources to get any books, and it's been some time since I've really read a couple of books, I have to be honest. I've started to do a little vlog, so you'll probably see a little vlog later on my channel. But yeah, this video is really just for me to share with you all of the new books that I have been buying this month, which is quite a lot. I actually haven't even counted how many it is. Some of them will be familiar, a lot of people are raving about them, and then some of them you'll just think, why did you buy that? And I'm also thinking, why did I buy that? But I'm not entirely sure, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first one is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kwan. I could not pick this up with so many raving about it. I know a lot of people giving it 4 to 5 stars. I actually also listened to a sample of it on Audible and I thought it was really interesting. I thought the premise was interesting, so I went and purchased it. I didn't want to get the hardback, but they didn't have the paperback until next year, which was kind of stupid. So I ended up getting the hardback, which is kind of annoying because I generally like to read paperbacks, and if it's a book that I love, then I might splash out. This one just has the little eyes, just like it does on the dust jacket, but yeah, it's nothing special. But I don't know, I'm sure you already know what this is about, but if you're not familiar, it is about 2 authors. One of them is incredibly jealous of this other author, and she ends up basically stealing her book. That's all I know about it. I know that something happens and whatnot, and obviously there's controversy because of the fact of the subject matter of the book and the author, and it kind of doesn't really make sense. That's as much as I know. I don't know anything else, so I am interested in reading this. It is more of one of those lit fic books, I'm imagining. It's not a very long book though, I've noticed. It's only just over 300 pages, so I don't think it's going to take me too long to read this. Okay, next up I've got this book. This is The 7 Moons of Marley Almeida, and it's by Shihan Karunatilaka. I'm sure I butchered that name, but I just thought this book cover was so beautiful. And yeah, it kind of got damaged when it came to me. It was the Booker Prize of 2022, and I kind of just wanted to, it looked interesting, so I wanted to pick it up. So it's in Colombo, 1990. Marla Almeida is a war photographer, gambler, and closet gay, and is woken up dead in what seems to be a celestial visa office. His dismembered body is sinking in the Beira Lake, and he has no idea who killed him. At a time when scores are settled by death squads, suicide bombers, and hired goons, the list of suspects is depressingly long, as the ghouls and ghosts who cluster around him can attest. So basically, he's dead, and he's trying to figure out who killed him, and I just think it's going to be very, very interesting. The time frame is in the 90s, as it said, so I think obviously back then it was a little bit different, and also if it's in Colombia, I think there's a lot of homophobia, so there might be a lot of that in the book. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really looked into this book at all. I've just read the synopsis, looked at the cover, and I was like, that looks interesting, I want to read that, so I picked this one up. Next up, I picked this one up. This one is so cute, and I thought that sounds like a really cozy, nice read for me. This is Sweet Bean Paste. It's not a new book at all. I think it came out a couple years ago. It is very small. I think it's a novella because it is really, really small book, and it's a charming tale of friendship, love, and loneliness in contemporary Japan. I'm very interested in Japanese culture or just Asian culture in general. I just think it's just so fascinating to read about. And I don't know, I looked at the synopsis online, I looked at the cover, and I thought, that looks so cute. Didn't realize it's going to be such a small book, but I picked it up, and I'm excited to read this one. Next up, we have The Dead Romantics. This is Ashley Poston, and I have seen this on a few other TBRs that I've been watching, and yeah, I just thought this looked kind of interesting. It's about Florence Day. She's a ghostwriter with a big problem. She's supposed to be penning swoon-worthy novels for a famous romance author, but after a bad breakup, Florence no longer believes in love. So when her strict but undeniably hot new editor, Benji, refuses to give her an extension on her book deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. I don't really know what this is about, but I think it's obviously going to be a love story, and yeah, I'm interested to just kind of dive into it. I think what I've done is I picked up a load of books that are all different from each other, and all different genres. You've got lit fic in here. I've got obviously romance. I've got some fantasy. I think there's also fantasy romance or something like that. I've got some horror as well. There's just a whole long list of stuff that, and I don't really know what genre I like to read anymore. Typically, I used to read thrillers and romance novels, and back in the day when I was younger, I read a lot of fantasy novels, but I don't know what I like anymore, so I just decided to pick up whatever sounds good and kind of, you know, intrigues my sort of, I don't know, curiosity. Okay, next up is a satirical novel. This is by Jonas Jonasson. I believe he does all his books are satirical. This is also King Damage, which I'm kind of annoyed about. But this is The Prophet and the Idiot. It just kind of looked fun to read. I don't know if I really like satirical novels, if I'm all that honest, because I tried to listen to one on Audible, and it was not by him, by somebody else, and it was just dreadful. I could not get into it. But I'm the type of person where I think Audible or any other, like, you know, any other book where you're trying to listen to it as opposed to reading it is really hard. I actually like to have the physical book in my hands. So anyway, this is based in Sweden. It's the late summer of 2011. Self-taught astrophysicist Petrus calculated that the atmosphere would collapse on the 7th of September that year, around 2120 to be precise, bringing about the end of times. Armed with this terrible knowledge, Petra meets Johan, a master chef, and Agnes, a widow of 75, who has made millions living a double life on social media as a young influencer. Together, the trio race through Europe as they plan to make the most out of the time they have left, in more ways than one. And I don't know, it just sounds kind of fun. I'm hoping it's funny, because when people say, oh, it was hilarious, it's often not, but I have heard good things about this author and his books. So yeah, interested in seeing how this goes, to be honest. This is called kind of like a shot in the dark one. It's a little bit risky for me to pick up that book. Okay, and then I have this book, The Lost Bookshop. I have no idea what this is about. I picked it up because it looked fun. It is by Evie Woods, and it's How Far Will You Go to Find Your Stories? So, on a quiet street in Dublin, a lost bookshop is waiting to be loved. For too long, Opaline, Martha, and Henry have been on the side characters in their own lives. I often feel like I'm the side character in my own life, and I'm trying to change that. So when a vanishing bookshop casts its spell, these three unsuspecting strangers will discover that their own stories are every bit extraordinary as the ones found in the pages of their beloved books. By unlocking the secrets of the shelves, they find themselves transported to a world of wonder where nothing is as it seems. Again, have no idea what this is about, but it kind of intrigued me, so I thought I'll pick this one up. Okay, next up, I think this is a trilogy, and I didn't realize this is the second book in a trilogy. It's like a romance, but from what I could see, every story are different characters, but I might be wrong. This is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, and it's like part of the Dreamland Billionaires trilogy. So yeah, as I said, this is the second book, which is kind of annoying. I didn't realize that. I would have picked up the first book. But it's basically two POVs. It's Declan and Isis, or Iris, or whatever. Yeah, it must be Iris. It's going to be Isis. And it's basically, they go into a locked agreement or something. He's like, he's a CEO of the family company, and his grandfather inheritance clause, he needs to marry somebody, and then she plans to marry, and then she agrees to marry him. It's basically, I don't know, they create some sort of contract together, and then they end up falling in love regardless. I don't really know what this is like. It's kind of a weird one for me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't usually go for these types of books, and I might end up just picking up the first one just because I don't want to start it right in the middle if there are the same characters in both. I'm not sure, I have to double check, but I did see some people have this in their TBR, so I thought, okay, I'll pick it up. All right, this is a very small book. I didn't realize it was going to be so tiny. This is The Lost Apothecary, and it is by Sarah Penner. It says it's a novel, but honestly, this is tiny. It's only like 200 and something pages, so I would say this is a novella to be sure. A Forgotten History, A Secret Network of Women, A Legacy of Poison and Revenge. Welcome to The Lost Apothecary. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis because it's huge, but I thought it was a very cute looking book and kind of a cozy read, I'm hoping, and I don't know, it's shortlisted for some award, and it says bold, edgy, accomplished debut, a poisonous, good read, riveting and utterly original. Who knows? It might be crap, but I'm excited to read this one. All right, this is another sort of shot in the dark and a wild one for me. This is Rhythm, Chord, and Mannequin. So as a 26-year-old Gabby might be a lot of things, but dumb isn't one of them. When her twin brother invites her to go on tour as his band's merch girl, she isn't exactly screaming at the top of her lungs with joy. With no job opportunities pounding her door, an ex-boyfriend she would still like to castrate, and no end in sight to moving out of her parents' house in Dallas, it would be dumb to say no to the chance of a lifetime. So this kind of spoke to me. Not only is the lead character called Gabby, I'm Gabby, it's spelled differently, but I'll forgive her. But she obviously is in Dallas, and half of my family's in Dallas. My dad is from Dallas, so I thought that was kind of fun too. And I don't know, it might be just a fun sort of quick read. I don't think it's very long, this one. This one's only, yeah, just under 300 pages, so I don't think this is going to take me too long. All right, then we've got Daisy Darker. So this is from Alice Fenney. And okay, so they basically all come back to, like the whole family comes back I think it's in Cornwall, which again, I was born in Cornwall, so that's kind of funny. They all come back for the grandmother's 80th birthday, and then something's not what it seems. And I don't know, I think it might be like a family mystery horror drama. I'm not entirely sure. It's like 300 pages, so again, another shorter one. All right, this one spoke to me for a few reasons. This is The Secret Life of an Uncool Mom. I am a mother of a 3-year-old, and I just felt like this spoke to me. I do not feel cool at all. I'm like, where did my youth go? So as soon as I saw this, I was like, yes. It said laugh out loud funny. I'm hoping it's just gonna be full of giggles and silly moments and just a very, very light read. This is by Serena Terry. And yeah, there is actually a second book coming out, I believe in September or sooner. No, I think it was September. So if I like this, I might just pick up the other one. Okay, so I did pick up Stephen King, The Dark Half. This is a reread for me. I want to reread it. I'm actually rereading a couple of other books in my TBR just to kind of get a sense if I still like them or not, because they were all my 5 stars back when I was a teenager. And I've always thought they were good books, but you know, several years have passed by now, and do I still like them? So that video will be posted next. I've yet to jump into this one. I'm just finishing up my second one out of the 3 that I'm rereading, and then I will jump into this one. But yeah, it's basically, it's one of the older Stephen King books. I don't know, I think it was released like in the 90s or something, and it's just about a man and a killer, and I don't really want to give away spoilers because it's one of those books where it's better to go in it without really knowing anything about it. There is a movie adaptation, but I would not watch that by any means. Just read the book instead. But yeah, I'm intrigued to reread this. I'm going to also start annotating books as well. I'm really interested in doing that. So I've already reread a couple books now, but I think I'm going to go back in for a 3rd time and annotate them, because there are obviously moments that I really want to treasure and like remember, and it'd be nice to have that memory in the books. And I might do the same for this one, or I might not. I'm not really entirely sure. All right, then we've got The Second Sight of Zachary Cloudesley. I don't even know if this is a YA novel. I don't know if this is adult or YA. If something tells me it is a little bit YA, but I might be completely wrong. It actually is a really beautiful looking book. I do not know what this is about. And the dust jacket is pretty, but like inside you've also got a map. And on the other side, you've got a map as well. Like the end pages are actually quite nice. And then the book itself is pretty decent. I didn't pay that much money for this, so I thought, oh, that's okay, that's pretty decent. Again, I don't think I was able to get the paperback, so that's kind of annoying. But yeah, he's gifted a remarkable way, but not all gifts are a blessing. Like, he's also endowed with an extraordinary gift. At the touch of a hand, Zachary can see into the hearts and minds of the people he meets, which is what kind of got me going. I thought that was very interesting because I've not really seen anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm really expecting from this book. It is another short book. Actually, no, it's over 300 pages. It's a pretty decent book. So we'll see. I'm just going to go into this blind like most of these and just see. Because again, I'm trying to see what kind of genre I like. So I watched Jodie's channel and she really liked this book recently. So I was like, okay, fine, I will pick it up. It is about a vampire. It is a dark romance fantasy. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I feel like it's gonna feel a little too young for me, even though it's adult. I think it's adult. I'm hoping it is. But I might be completely wrong because I haven't dived into it. It's almost 500 pages. It's a little bit hefty. It's a really big floppy book though. I mean, I know a lot of people love these floppy books and I can understand why, because you can really get into a book like this. So there's like a human daughter and her father is the vampire king. An early chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. Winning won't be easy against the most vicious warriors. Rule 3 vampire houses to survive. Auraria is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. And yeah, I think that's where the love story ends up. And I thought it was interesting because the way that it was described to me is the vampire, there's a different take on the vampires. Apparently they have wings or something like that. So I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to read this just as a completely different type of story. Okay, so I have a few more books on the side here that I did pick up this month. This is How to Kill Your Family by, what is this, by Bella Mackie. Oh, this serpent one is by Carissa Broadbent. I didn't mention that. Anyway, so this one I thought, this one's popping up everywhere. I kept seeing it, so I was like, fine, I will figure out how to kill my family. It says, they say you can't choose your family, but you can kill them. Meet Grace Banner, daughter, sister, serial killer. Grace has lost everything, but she will stop at nothing to get revenge. So who knows what this is about. I think it's going to be a kind of like a satirical comedy, like maybe a dark comedy, and we'll see. I kind of just picked it up. It looked good. Yeah, I don't know. It looked like it has some good reviews. Another one that I picked up is Emily Henry. I could not pick up a book by Emily Henry because she is an author that I haven't tried. A lot of people love her books. And I thought, okay, fine, let me give it a go. So I picked up Book Lovers. I didn't pick up the newer ones that she's released. I think this came out last year. And this one seemed to have better reviews than the other ones more recently. And it also, just the synopsis itself kind of sounds a little bit more interesting for me. But again, I don't even know if I really like these type of romance books anymore. So we'll see. Basically, Nora is a cutthroat literary agent, and then she meets Charlie, who's an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers, but they end up being like nemesis, but then I guess they fall in love. I don't really know. I don't know. If that's completely wrong, then forgive me. But yeah, I picked this one up because I wanted to try her. Also picked this one up. This is When Women Were Dragons. I think this came out this year, but I might be completely making that up. This is by Kelly Barnhill, and it is based in the 50s, and it's a world where women and girls are taught to be quiet. The dragons inside them are about to set us free. Nothing will ever be the same again. And hundreds of thousands of ordinary women sprout wings, scales, and talons and take to the skies in a blaze of fire and fury. Alex Green is one of those left behind. No one will talk about what happened. Best forgotten, everybody says, but Alex can't forget, nor does she want to. So I don't really know what this is about. I think it's going to be probably a huge metaphor on feminism if it's based in the 50s, but we'll just see. And I'm interested to see how it's written or anything like that. I just thought it was interesting, and I really like the book cover. So this is another one that I could not skip over. I got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This obviously won the Goodreads from last year, and it was on the top of everyone's best books of the year. And I have to admit, like, just reading the synopsis and everybody that talks about this, the actual story itself does not interest me one bit. I do like gaming, and it's about these two girls who were friends, and then later on they meet again at university and they create a video game, blah, 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 and apparently it's very poignant and sad. That to me does not sound interesting at all. Regardless of the fact that I like video games, that doesn't sound interesting to me at all. So I'm very interested to see how this book is going to change my mind. So yeah, I had to pick this up. This is by Gabrielle7, if you don't know already, but I'm sure you've read it. But yeah, I had to pick that up. Okay, I got a few more. So I've got Magpie by Elizabeth Day. I don't remember what this is about at all. I have no idea. I really like the cover. I really like this orange. So when Marissa meets Jake, everything falls into place, and when their new lodger Kate arrives, something isn't right about her. It's the way she looks at Jake, keeps her toothbrush right next to theirs, constantly asks questions about the baby they were trying for. Maybe it's all in Marissa's head. Okay, so this is like gonna be one of those mysterious women who tries to steal the man, and probably gonna be like a suspense thriller, I presume. So yeah, maybe this will be fun read. I tried to get some books that I would want to read like leading up to like October, like more spooky vibes, and I have actually a bunch more books coming in the post, which I'll do another book haul at some point, maybe like towards the end of August or something. But I might save this for like later on. Doesn't sound like a summer read for me that I would want to read right now. All right, another one that I picked up because the cover, I thought this was really cute. This is The Satsuma Complex by Bob Mortimer. Don't remember what this is about. This is Gary Thorne. He goes for a pint with a work acquaintance called Brendan. When Brendan leaves early, Gary meets a girl in the pub. He doesn't catch her name, but falls for her anyway. Oh yeah, okay. And then when she leaves, he doesn't get her name, and then he goes about town and he tries to figure out where she is, or she goes missing, or Brendan goes missing, and he needs to track down the girl. I don't know. It's like one of those fun, I think, books that kind of takes you on an adventure, and it's sort of wacky. I don't really know. Again, I'm not a good person to give this synopsis at the moment because I kind of just bought these books on a whim. I'm just so ready to dive in all of these different types of themes and genres and just figure out what I like. So then we've got this one. This is 12 Nights at Rotherhouse. I watched books with Lala, and she read this book, and I think she gave it 3 or 4 stars. She said it started off really well or something, and then something, or it was boring, and then at the end it was okay, and it wasn't like a full 5-star. But I still like the premise and what it was about. So this one is by J.W. Oker, and basically this guy goes to this haunted house to do like a documentary or something. I'm hoping that's what it is, because I think, yeah. Oh, he's a travel writer, and he specializes in creepy destinations, and he goes to the house, and he's supposed to be there for 13 days, but the book's obviously 12 Nights at Rotherhouse, so yeah, it kind of, I don't know, it's like one of those spooky vibe books that I am planning to read towards like closer to spooky moments like in September, October time. Okay, and then last but not least in this book haul, I have this one here. I could not pick this up. This is another one where I was like, okay, fine, I will pick it up. And this is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I have mixed reviews, like I've seen mixed reviews of this book. Some people love it, some people find it really dull and boring. I'm hoping that I love it. I might be one of those that find it dull and boring. I'm not sure. Again, it's one of those that I couldn't get it in paperback. I wish I did, because I didn't really want this big huge cover, and the naked book is very boring. So it's like, it's not even like worth having this big cover, but we'll see if I like this. So you notice that one of the books that everybody is raving about is Fourth Wing. I am not going to be picking that book up because I have read a lot of reviews, and I am pretty damn sure I will not enjoy it. It's just a little bit, I think it sounds, even though it's not YA, it sounds like it's YA for me, and it might, you know, some of these books might be just like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just one of those books that I did not want to pick up. It was also £17, and I can't get a paperback. It has to be a hardback for £17, and none of these books cost me that much money, so I'm like, no. If I can find it for £5, maybe in a year, I might eventually read it, but that is a book that obviously is very popular at the moment, but I think for the wrong reasons, so I did not pick it up. Anyway, that is my book haul, my first book haul on my channel. Hopefully you liked the video. If you want to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. This is actually my second channel. I do have a beauty channel, so if you're interested in beauty as well, you can go check that out. I'll have it linked in my description. But I just thought, you know, I want another hobby. I want to like get into books. Honestly, this year I have been trying to improve myself. It's been a year of improving myself in terms of physically, mentally, and whatnot. And I do think diving into books will help me more mentally. So that is another reason why I've created this channel. And if you want to stick around and watch me, that would be super fun. I do have a vlog coming very soon where I am rereading 3 of my 5 stars from when I was a teenager, and then obviously I plan to do several more videos, do like TBRs, and then what I read the month, and give reviews on books and whatnot. All the delicious fun content that any booktuber does. Obviously I'm starting at 0. I'm starting from scratch, but yeah, would appreciate any support, and yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you all next time. Bye!